Okay, if you guys saw my review on the Streamlight Stylus Pro, went out and bought yourselves one, maybe two, you know the light's a win. At least at its price level, around $20 US, you have scored yourself a very capable single mode flashlight with great looks. You're looking at the blue anodized version. It comes in orange, red, silver, black, some camo patterns. What a great gift idea. Great little light. About 24 lumens, half watt LED through their what they call the micro optical system. The Streamlight Stylus Pro is a winner when it comes to affordable everyday carry lighting products. But I will say this, it's not perfect and the lighting technology continues to improve. Just like I said on my video, shedding some light on new lighting technologies. I predicted that the technologies would revolutionize, continue to progress forward, and they're doing just that. Don't feel under-equipped though with this light. And some gals and some guys that have it will say, well, this sucks now. No, it doesn't. It's a great little light. It's simple. You know, just click on, click off. There's no multi-modes to full width. It's a great medium level lighting product. It is not perfect though. I will say for around $20 it's perfect. That may change in the future depending on the competition. But as of now, for $20, perfect little light. But it's not perfect overall in capabilities. The reason I'm going to say that, and I'm using it to introduce this review, is because you might want something dimmer. You might want something brighter. Maybe you're searching for something that has to be found, and this ain't cutting it because it just doesn't put out enough light. Maybe I can show you a lighting product that has the same form factor as this light, the Stylus Pro, but has a dominating capability and a much more capable user interface. That light, of course, is from the good people at, stand by, 4Sevens. Yeah, buddy. What a fun booth review we did. SHOT Show 2010 with Nutnfancy and the 4Sevens crew. David Chow played host. Great times. I wish I had more time to spend with them. Maybe next year we'll do just that. SHOT Show, I'm just running around crazy. There's so many booths to hit, so didn't really have time to visit and look at each product quite in depth as I wanted to. One of them was this one, the Preon 2. There you go. We'll look at this gold version here in just a little bit, but same form factor as the Stylus Pro. And this is the Preon 2 review by Nutnfancy. 24 lumens. Looking on the back, how about a whopping 160 lumens? Whoa. Out of a 2-cell AAA cell flashlight. Amazing. This also comes in the form of Preon 1. It is the single cell version of this light. My favorite is the one I'm showing you now. It's the one I'm going to recommend to UT and peers and the good folks in the world that may find this review via Google. This is my favorite, the Preon 2. What a great light it is. I have talking points. I'll attempt to stick with them, more or less, trying to cover all the details for guys that want to know. And if I don't go into enough details for you, why don't you just go ahead and look up the good folks at Candle Power Forums. There's a lot of smart individuals that spend their whole lives talking about the finer points of all lighting products, probably to include the Preon 2. So if I leave a detail out, it's probably around online somewhere. You can find it. One thing that makes this light so amazing is its size, weight, and form factor. We get into a little philosophy here. Which do you prefer? Do you like the Preon 1, which is about half size, has a different UI, I hope to remember to tell you that, or would you like something larger? This is another review coming. There's a Quark AA Squared Turbo, also from 4Sevens, great light. A little bit big for EDC, for Nutnfancy, if you ask me. Just too big. I'm banging into things with it, and I'm talking just civilian EDC. Depending on what I have going, maybe I would opt for this light. Everyday carry, civilian life, no, too much. How about the Quark Mini 123? Great little light, but look at the different form factor. It's short and squat, doesn't have a pocket clip. You can't hold it cigar style like you can this one. This is my favorite. I said as much, I think, in my Stylus Pro review. I just like the longer pin-like flashlights for EDC use. And now that you have such a capability in the Preon 2, there's no excuse not to have it on your person all the time. Seriously, it's 2010, not 1978 anymore. Guys will notice this. Hey, Nutnfancy, you engrave your lights. Yeah, I do. just so someone happens to borrow it and forget to return it, I can say, dude, that's my light. And yes, it's happened before. If you win a Nutnfancy trivia contest and I send you, I don't know, Stylus Pro, maybe a knife, a lighting product or such, I'll engrave it just like this. For what it's worth, probably not much. 1.6 ounces, talking about size and weight still, 1.8 ounces. It's going to be lighter still if you use lithium AAA batteries. These are wearing alkaline cells right now. One thing I like about the form factor as well, getting back to the long cylindrical nature of the Preon 2, is its capability to fit into pin pockets. And a lot of people wouldn't think that a Penlight could do that. Well, maybe some would, maybe they wouldn't, but I know a lot of people that would never think of it. Here's a flight suit, for instance. Check this. Preon 2. Oh, daddy like. Goes right in that pin pocket. And granted, there's different manufacturers that the government uses for the flight suits, so sometimes pin pockets are more narrow, more wide. You guys know how that goes. By way of reference, the Stylus Pro has a more bulbous head. It will still fit into this particular flight suit. You really have to jam it though. The Preon 2 has a slimmer head on it, and it makes it more capable in that realm. It really is the ideal size and weight. That takes us on to construction. It wouldn't mean much if it's a lightweight light, but it couldn't stand the test of time. Everything 4Sevens puts out is quality. I haven't seen any crappy product come out of that company yet. They just improve on what others have done, they perfect it, and then they take it to the next level. The Preon 2's a good example of that. It has type 3 anodizing all over it, and it's kind of an interesting anodizing formulation. And David Chow was showing us this in the booth review. I was so busy, I really didn't grasp what he was saying at the time. What he was saying is that this is a matte finished anodizing, and it actually has kind of a rubbery feel to it, kind of a higher traction feel. Look at the gorgeous blue on that. Isn't that cool looking? Just gorgeous. And it does have kind of a higher traction, so you don't really need knurling on this type of light. Again, by way of reference, here comes a Streamlight Stylus Pro. You can see that's typical blue anodizing. I still like it. It's pretty, but it's, you know, it's glossy, and there's really not a high traction finish on it. Preon 2 wears that. IPX8 water standard. Okay, by way of reference, what's that mean? Well, about 12 feet for 24 hours static pressure, the light won't allow any water to enter. You know me though, Nutnfancy, I gotta test it to the max. What did I do? I took this little Preon 2, filled up the old Nutnfancy water testing barrel, where I take lights down to a whopping 3-foot depth. Yeah, I know. You guys are laughing. Actually, don't laugh too hard, though, because I have seen and I have had recently, like as of today in my water testing, a really high-quality light fail the test. Stand by. I'll give you a review of that, perhaps. And no, I won't condemn the light on that because it's still under development. But the Preon 2, I will say, as I subjected it to the really hardcore Nutnfancy water barrel testing regime, passed with flying colors. Taking it down to depth, shaking it around, actuating the button, all the different modes for about 10 minutes, and then leaving the light sitting there for several hours. No water came in at all. To me, that's a very good test. It's a realistic test. Yes, I would like to go diving with a light down to a certain depth. You'll see me do that with some lights if my time and schedule allows that. It's just a fun test. I don't know if it's a realistic test, just like I've said in some other reviews. I think the water barrel test, very realistic test, because it's going to tell you that in rain, thunderstorms, hard driving, wet conditions, the light will not fail you. Preon 2, passing with flying colors. Great job on that. Still talking about the construction features of the Preon 2, I want to show you guys this. If you allow your light to get dunked, you might want to do this. And this is also, I want to show you just construction-wise, a very interesting feature of the Preon 2. This is an aluminum clicky switch protective button, and it has a retention collar right here. You screw off. Here's the aluminum cap that goes over the rubber clicky protective switch. So the interesting thing, first off, is that you're not actuating over the years a rubber portion on the clicky switch that will and can wear out. And that's why Phoenix and a lot of the other manufacturers include an extra one. So over time, as you wear through that rubber portion, you can replace it. Not so with the Preon, because what it has is an aluminum button that covers that. Okay, they don't include an extra rubber cover because you won't need it if you use the light as designed. And incidentally, you don't have the option. You have to wear that, because if you don't, this protective cover will pull off. It's retained by this. Another reason I want to show you this is if you take your light for dunking, there will be water under this cap that you'll have to blow out. Just like today as I did the water testing, I found that to be true. Okay, and then the protective cap goes over the forward clicky switch like so. Comes a retention collar. And here's an important feature you might want to keep in mind too with the Preon 2. Really crank that down. There's two reasons for that. One is that you really seal the O-rings there so you achieve that waterproofness. Secondly, so you really lock this well-designed pocket clip in place. Once you do that, that pocket clip will not rotate, and that takes us to another outstanding feature on the Preon lights, especially the Preon 2. That is a great deep carry pocket clip that is strong, has a hole in it so you can put on a lanyard if you want. Just great. I can't really say anything how to improve that pocket clip. Again, by way of reference, here comes a Stylus Pro. That was a good pocket clip too. I don't like the newer versions where they don't have the hole in the pocket clip for the attachment of a lanyard. But notice it's a barrel mounted pocket clip that can be rotated around the circumference. Is that a showstopper for me? No, not really. But I like it when it locks into place like this, because then everything becomes predictable, stronger. Great pocket clip. Notice the barrel design, talking about construction and features, actually blending onto ergonomics. See how it's more slim through this portion, then it flares out ever so slightly toward the emitter head, which incidentally, excuse me, holds a perfectly centered into a texture reflector xpr-g LED. And that is responsible for the amazing burn times and brightness levels that we'll talk about here in a second of the Preon 2. To change the batteries, you take the emitter head off like so. There's that O-ring right there, anodized threads, inside and out. You don't see no water in there, do you? I don't. And again, I'm wearing alkaline cells right there. Lighter still, 1.6 ounces with those alkalines, but you go with lithium even lighter. Ergonomics, I think I've covered most of it. Lanyard capability, great clip, slender, easy to carry, all the things that I would want out of a very slim, lightweight, and comfortable EDC light. Brightness and throw. I'm also going to probably get into burn times and UI, user interface on this. Let me turn off the lights, pause the camera, and then we'll take a look-see at that. Just a sec. Okay, it's a little bit dark, a little bit spooky. Great time to bust out the EDC light to save the day. Okay, remember I told you dudes that the Streamlight Stylus Pro single mode light, where is it? Here it is. Single brightness level. Here it comes on the right. I probably didn't screw it down all the way. Here we go. There it is. Okay, you see that? Stylus Pro, still a great light, but single mode. What if I want something dimmer? Well, there you see it on the left. That is the Preon 2, of course. And make sure I get my specs right. Low gives you 2.2 lumens. Burn time will be a whopping 23 hours. Now we can hard click it or soft tap it to medium. I'm going to hard click it on off. There's medium. Medium's 22 lumens, 6 hours. Hard click back to actually 4 to 160 lumens. That's a lot. About 0.8 hours. Not quite an hour there. And then off again. And that's what mostly you'll be using with your Preon 2, is those three modes. You can also soft tap through those, by the way. There's low, soft tap. When I say soft tap, that means I'm just pushing ever so slightly on the M button of the aluminum cap, soft tap again to high, and there you go. There's low. Now, the Preon 2 has more capabilities, but fortunately for most users, they are hidden. Okay? Meaning that unless you really want to access them, you won't. And those capabilities are going to be strobe. And the way I do that is I'll cycle through soft tap several times until I access them. And there's strobe mode. That'll burn for about 1.6 hours. There's SOS for about 2.4 hours. Beacon high mode, which will be about 8 hours. And then that introduces beacon low mode for about 40 hours. And then once that initial flashing ceases, about every 10 seconds, it will give you a burst of light, in the beacon modes. Here it comes, we're almost there, and you'll see that it gives you a burst of low beacon. That's very useful if you're out in the woods and you want to locate your campsite, tent, maybe an injured person, you could leave your Preon 2 of them, just leave it in beacon mode. Maybe they're out of it. They may be unconscious. Great way to locate them, and yet the light's going to run for 40 hours with fresh cells on that. Great job. I mean, so it's a very useful interface. I was going to tell you guys too about, let me turn this light on to kind of show you. This is the forward clicky switch, which you're going to access those modes. The Preon 1, which is the single AAA cell version of this light, has a twist UI, I believe. So it's a little bit different. In my opinion, inferior to this UI, because this is truly a single hand user interface. I can hold it cigar style, access those modes single hand. I might be injured with this hand, so that might be a player. Another reason perhaps I may not prefer the twist UI. But perfect. Let's look at those beam patterns too. I think 4Sevens probably spends more time, more energy, and more research than any other company in getting their beams clean and useful for the specific POU of the light. To me, I think they just got it perfect on the Preon 2, because this is an everyday carry light. What I want in that application is kind of an area light. Here comes a Stylus Pro by way of reference, putting out about 24 lumens. Notice it's on the left here. Notice it's much more narrow, pinpoint, if you will. That may be good in some applications. I like a little bit more of an area lighting capability with an EDC light, because you're usually illuminating some type of work going on. Okay, it might be some engine work under the hood. You might be looking for something. You may have to search around more with a pinpoint style light like the Stylus Pro. Still excellent, but I do prefer the Preon 2 a little bit better. Look at no artifacts in this beam. And you will notice that too when you throw it out at about 25, 30 feet as well. Still a clean beam. I think we're in medium mode. We might have been high. That was high. Great center. They're a great spill beam, and it's just perfect. I mean, I can't really say anything bad about it. There's no halos or donuts that are distracting. Great job on the Preon 2. Covered the burn times there. Again, the burn times will very much change according to what type of cells you're using, whether it's lithium, maybe inaloops, maybe alkaline. I hate to even say them, but I'll just use the factory specifications because that gets you in the ballpark what will happen. I generally find they're going to be a lot less than you will think they're going to be when you're out and about in your camping and hiking activities. Back with the lights on so you can see the light again. I hope you dudes understood the UI on the Preon 2. Pretty simple. You just push. You can either hard push or soft push to access those different lighting levels, right? Depends what you want. I like also how the Preon 2 comes on in low mode. Some people disagree with that and say, well, I really like it to come on in medium mode. Not me, because sometimes I'm trying to not disturb other people, like I said in the intro, or preserve my night vision, in which case I don't want it to come on in medium or high, because then I'm rushing or hiding the emitter head and trying to go to low mode. I like how it comes on the low mode. If it's off for 2 seconds or more, and then you turn it back on, it should come on low mode again. And again, I hope you guys understood. You can soft tap your way to the other modes, or you can hard click your way to them. Either way, very simple to do. Great job on the UI. I absolutely love it. It's a home run. Versatility. When we talk about versatility, we're talking about POUs, philosophies of use. How do you intend to employ your light? To me, it's an outstanding medical light because it has different modes. You can go bright, you can go medium, you can go low. It's a great everyday carry light. Whether you're a police officer, a military type, a civilian, always have your light on you, man. If you ever see me running around, say Nutnfancy, light check. Give a light check and a knife check, and I guarantee you I'll come out with flying colors. I'll have it on my person. Nowadays, it's going to be the Preon 2. Sometimes even the Stylus Pro, but I really dig the capabilities of the Preon 2. It's just amazing. 1.6 ounces. There's and so slim and easy to carry. Deep pocket clip. Why would you leave it at home? I don't understand it. Put it in your pen pocket. Track record is outstanding. Everything 4Sevens puts together, at least as of this point, I find is excellent. Superior quality, well made, well designed. They back up their products with great customer service, and this will take us to cost and value. Some dudes will say, hey, Nutnfancy, great light, love it, but it's a lot more expensive than the Stylus Pro. And you know what? You are right. And by the way, these are not the only two pen lights out there. I don't mean to seem myopic, but they're the ones I have a lot of experience with at this point. And for time reasons, I'm not going to cover more. And I think it's an interesting comparison. Great light, single mode, about $20. This is going to be over twice the price. And you'll have to decide whether it's worth it. But look at the capabilities you get with it. The different modes. You got low at 2.2 lumens, go to medium all the way up to 160 high. You got strobe, SOS, beacon high, beacon low in a 1.6 ounce light. Whoa! I mean, wow. For around $50, a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on what 4Sevens does with their pricing, I think it's worth it. You know, you can use the coupon code as long as they have it to get a little bit more off, to bring it down even more. When you start using the Preon 2, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. That it's a home run, it's an engineering feat, and as of early or mid 2010, there's really no other better Penlight in the world that I've seen. I just haven't seen it. If you score a Preon, and then again, like I predicted, lighting technologies continue to improve, I still think you'll be happy with a Preon. Same like guys who have the Stylish Pro. They're still happy with it. They love it. But more capabilities, and definitely worth the cost. And I remain an addict. You know, 3 coolest things in life: guns, flashlights, and knives. Sorry, just the way it is. When I see a cool one like this, I'm attracted big time. That's the Preon 2 review by Nutnfancy. It is an engineering marvel. Great job, David Chow and gang at 4Sevens. This is Nutnfancy's review. See ya. Highly, highly recommended. Out. That's a Quark Preon low mode. Quark Preon high mode again. Oh, that's crazy. Quark Preon high mode.